Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to part 2 of my early look at space engineers. So last time we kind of covered a lot of the different blocks, movement, inventory management, things like that. Today we're going to do a look at mining and building and disassembling. So we're actually going to get to use this thing. Oh, I enjoy it. So let's take a look at mining. The first thing you're going to do, you're going to spawn, you're going to be just like I am. You're going to have pretty much nothing. You're going to have some things listed on your hotbar, but they're not things that you're really going to be familiar with. So what you're going to do is you're going to press G by default anyway, and that opens up your toolbar config. So right now I've got the cockpit 2, small reactor, small thruster, and gyroscope. I don't care about them. I don't care about any of that, so I'm just right-clicking to clear them out. You don't have to do that. It's just something that I do. So these are what you have. These are your weapons and tools that you have. So I am going to stock my hotbar up with everything that I have. So here we go. You will always start with the welder, the hand drill, and the grinder. I believe it's only in quick start that you have the automatic rifle. Now, I am also going to put on a light armor block. And just for the fun of it, let's do a small cargo container. So to get out of this, you just press G. So, as you can see, I am now in place block mode, I guess would be what you would call it. And if we switch to 5, there we go. The cool thing with this game is with some games you have to go into a special mode on the ship. So right now, I'm not in any mode. I just happen to be selected on the block. So I can, place it anywhere. Now, because I'm in creative mode, I can create and destroy by just left and right clicking, and it becomes fully assembled. Not really the best way to show what's going on, but it works. Now, as you can see, these blocks are huge. These are station blocks, and it requires 25 light armor or steel plates in order to build this. That is what it requires for this. Now, if we come up here and boop, this block is smaller now. And it only requires 1. Now, why is that? Because I am now on the ship. I haven't done anything. All I've done is focused on the ship. I'm just looking at the ship and pointing at it. That's pretty much it. Same thing with the cargo container. So, cargo container is a 1x1x1. It requires 1 display, 2 motors, 2 computers, 1 construction component, and 3 interior plating. You need to have those 3 interior plating you need 1 interior plating just to place the frame. Same thing with the block. You need a single steel plate. Doesn't matter what it is, you need that first one. You just need 1 of them in order to place the outline. That is kind of the caveat. You can't just place it with nothing in your inventory. So now, as you can see, this requires, those components on the right. Small cargo container. If we go to here, though, the block is bigger and requires 20 steel tubes, 40 construction component, and 40 interior plates. And that's because there are 2 different types for every block. There's the small ship, which is the tiny 1x1x1, and then there's the larger, I kind of want to call it the 2x2x2 for stations and large ships. So on the station, it'll be the same as going over to red number 1 or blue number 2. Those would be the same. They take a lot more, but if we, let's place you there, and we'll place you there. And get that off. And if we take a quick look here, what is this one? Small cargo container. Oh, it doesn't tell me how much it can hold anymore. Maybe this... Is this a creative mode thing? Normally it tells you your max capacity. That's unfortunate. Well, I was hoping to be able to show you that their capacities are different. Dang it. Flying is still problematic for me. And... yeah, it's not showing what I wanted it to show. So generally it would show your capacity. And unfortunately it's not. So I don't know if that's a creative mode thing or if that's something that they changed in a patch. I think it's a creative mode thing. But the smaller ones on the small ships do hold less than the larger ones. So there is a difference there for everything. So they're the same block, but they're completely different. And it's kind of neat. Now, let's get into mining. So here is your mining drill. To mine, you come over to your friendly neighborhood asteroid and start beating the crap out of it. And as you can see, there's these rock chunks that are flying off. And if I go into my inventory, I've got nothing in there. Nothing was collected. And that's because you actually have to manually pick them up with T. This is the weakest point of the game, I find. It is frustrating beyond all belief. Because essentially, you have to kind of luck out and chase these blocks. Chase the floating rocks around. And hope to hell that you're grabbing something. Like, I just grabbed a whole bunch of stone, which, let's be honest, stone's useless. It's not completely useless. You can use gravel for some... Well, gravel's required for some things. I think it's required for the nuclear reactor. But for the most part, it's pretty useless. But you see here how we've got iron 22 meters away. You have a kind of a short-range sensor that detects the minerals and stuff. It's very short range. It's not the most accurate thing. So, here we go. It's also a little bit odd how close you have to be. Like, you pretty much have to be inside of the block. Like, you would think that I'd be able to reach out and just grab it. And if we come out to third-person view... Oh, come on. There we go. Like, I am freaking close. I don't quite understand why we have to be so close and why we are holding the drill so close to us, especially since it's so long. But that is, in all honesty, that is fairly minor. I don't think we've gotten a single piece of iron here. Yeah, not a single piece. Well, let's get rid of that crap, because we don't need it. We're in creative mode. We have everything. Oh, and we found uranium. I saw it blip up. There we go. Uranium, right there. Right where I am thrusting. So, once you've acquired enough minerals there and you've processed them, my suggestion... Where's the platform? God damn it. My suggestion is, first ship you build needs to be a miner, because this is frustrating. Actually, let's go to just our hand. That kind of crap, that's frustrating. That'll piss you off real quick if you have to constantly do it. This demon doesn't take too much to build. Like, if we head over to this, so your drill is probably the most expensive part of this. So steel tube, small and large, motors, computer, steel plates, construction components. Nothing too spectacular. You don't need to have two of them, although two is a little bit better. You know, you need a cargo container, you need some ducting. I'm calling it ducting for some reason, the conveyor tubes. And you can just use the small conveyor tubes for these. You need thrusters, obviously. You don't need to have this connector at first. The connector does make it easier, And then you've pretty much got everything. You need a reactor, some engines, and obviously a cockpit. But let's pop in here, and here we are within the ship. Now, ships operate the same way. You have to press G for toolbar config, and you've got your drill. And you can pop your drill in there, and you press G, and you can access it. See? Simple as that. Now, if you want to just use one drill, you can press the middle mouse button, and it will just utilize the one, and then you press it again, and it'll go to both. Now, I don't know exactly how to switch it. Oh, and you can also press Alt and look around inside the cockpit, which is kind of cool. So I recommend third-person view when it comes to ships, but it's entirely up to you, especially when you're moving around. Going to, you know, fine-tune where you're going, you might want first person. But this is where things get really easy. Let's switch to first person. And we will just basically ram into this rock. And look at how quickly we're going through. We are just chewing this up. And because of the size of the drills and the shape of the ship, we can just go right through. When I was first playing around, I actually went right through an asteroid. Now, you can also see that there's some small stones flying, but there's no big stones like we had. And most of them are actually disappearing before going anywhere. And that's because if we go into our inventory, there's nothing in here, but we have it in our connector. Now, why is it in the connector and not in the drills or the cargo? That's actually pretty simple to explain. If we come over to the connector... Oh, the connector's not on throw out, or collect all. Okay, I can't easily explain that. Generally, you'd want it on collect all. And that will collect from all the other inventories. I'm guessing that the drills, it just happens to be the way the conveyors are set up in this case. They're set up to go to the connector first. But I'm not sure. It could be an update that changed it. A lot of things change with the updates. I can't keep up with it all. But this is the best way to mine, because you don't lose really anything. I've seen a few stones fly off here and there, but it's so much faster. Like, just in that little amount of time, we've dug that huge shaft, and we've collected a whole bunch. You know, 5.82 thousand, or 5,817 kilos of iron. So that is pretty awesome. This is where third person comes in handy. Why does it look like I'm all messed up? So now let's tinker with the connector. So that big yellow circle on the back is our connector. What we need to do here is we need to line ourselves up, and we're actually good-ish. Once you get close, you'll lock in, and now you can go into your inventory, and you see your connector here. Nothing else has changed. If we go into our connector, and we hit lock, it will lock us to the other connector. And see, now here we've got the refinery, we've got the cockpit, we've got all of the stuff that is on the space station. If we go to our inventory, we are now empty. And that's because we've got to cycle this. There's a bug where it doesn't show up the inventories here until you cycle it. So now everything should have dumped out. And should be, there we go, in the refinery. And we're producing gravel. And let's not actually care about gravel. So let's produce the iron. And there we go. We are now eating the iron ore and producing iron ingots from it, which is great. Very convenient. So we're done here. Actually, I need to be back in here. And you go to connector. And if you... Right now, I'm in the connector that is on the station, and as soon as you hit unlock, you've unlocked it. So now we're unlocked from the station, and as you can see, the connector looks different. Let's pop ourselves out here. The connector is pretty strong when it comes to its magnetic field, so you need to kind of push to get out. Sometimes you have to do kind of a sideways shuffle in order to break free. But otherwise, it's very handy. It's very, very handy. So let's just kind of stop here and hop out. So now, that is basic mining and gathering resources. So you're going to start off and you're going to be like, okay, I have this, rescue ship. What can I do with it? It's going to disappear when I log off. Well, you can disassemble it. Actually, let's do that with this guy. So we're going to pop into this guy. And we are going to come over here. And we're going to park him right up here. Right above these grinders. Let's stop you right about there. So what you can do is you're not going to have this grinding station. All you're going to have is this grinder here. So what you do is you would go and grind things down. And you collect all of the items. Keep an eye on the volume in the lower left. That volume is your inventory space. Once it becomes red, you can't do anything else. Like, you will start dropping items on the ground. You'll continue deconstructing, but it will just... it'll poop. It'll just poop it out. So let's see. These thruster components are pretty hefty. Right, because I'm in creative mode, it's not changing shit all. Right, anyway, yeah. So what you'll do is you'll do that, and you will dismantle your ship, and you can use it for other parts. Now, what this thing is, this is an awesome device to build. If you've got a lot of... damn it, gotta be... I can use keyboards, honest. So what you can do is you can go in here, turn your grinders on, and you can already hear them working. There they are. Look at them go. Do not stand too close to them. Like right now, I am too close to them, and I would probably die if I wasn't in creative. So hop in here and bring our ship down a little bit more. And this is where these grinders are amazing. What they're doing here is they're dismantling this ship. They do kind of an area of effect type deal. Whoa, hello. No, get back here. Get back in there. For some reason, these parts are not affected by gravity. And I kind of wish they were. But yeah, this is highly convenient. Because look at how quickly that just dismantled this ship. Just totally destroyed it in a matter of seconds. Now, you can mount those on ships. So this ship here, bonk. This ship here has a grinder and a welder. So if we hop into here, let's set up our bar for grinder and welder. So if we go with angle grinder, we can now dismantle things. And what this will do is this will slowly break things down. It's about the same speed as your hand grinder, but it has a distinctive difference. As you saw there, it has an area of effect. So it's not exactly where you place it. It's where it affects. It's the area around it. As long as it can reach within its little predefined area. Same thing with the welder. So the welder will place components and build. It's the same speed as your hand welder, but it does a larger area. Now, you have to get it in just the right spot, or else things just kind of go weird. Basically, it's not that it goes weird, it's just it doesn't work. Now, the benefit with these is when you grind things down, it will put the items in the inventory. So you can have your large or medium or small, like this one's got the large cargo container, and it'll fill it up. And then what you can do is you use the welder and you use the cargo that's within the cargo container instead of using what's in your inventory. So if we come over here, try not to smash into anything, and we can get over here, and there we go. We can construct this using items from the ship's inventory, which... Oop, wrong button. Which I don't think we have anything, because we're in creative mode, and it just doesn't work that way. But that's the basics of... Whoa, hello. Alright, let's just get me out of the ship before I do something dangerous. That's the basics of building and whatnot. So you basically place your frame, and it will not look like that. Well, your frame will look like these scaffoldings. Like if we look at these scaffoldings, this has 3 out of 20 instead of... Normally it'll have like 1. And I'm guessing that they put the 3 on there just to make it a little bit more stable. Because I believe, depending on how much material you have in it, depends on how structurally sound it is. So it's quite handy to have. It's quite nice. And of course, you get yourself a lot of storage because you're gonna get a lot of crap. Let's see what else. Well, let's do this guy. Let's, again, set ourselves up. So we got a rocket launcher and a Gatling gun. This is where you would get into more of an assault. So there's a mining transport over there. Yeah, it's too far away. We're not going to worry about it. But let's... So we can damage our own stuff. And as you see, once you do enough damage to it, it will deform. So there we go. We've got some deformation. It also works if you slam into it. Let's do this, and let's do it here. Boom. And of course, there is no... Oh, I just broke my rocket launcher. There's no sound. There's no sound for it because in space, no one can hear you scream. Now, the trick with the landing gear is, from what I understand, landing gear does not have a damage indicator. Like, it takes no damage. Oop. And produces no damage. So it looks here like our landing gear here has contacted this landing gear, which is quite nice at all and all. So these won't damage each other. Now, if we want to repair this, looks like we've got a part here. It's our NATO cartridge. Yeah. So as you can see, we got this nice indentation, but all of these still have all of their parts. There's 25 out of 25. So all that needs is a little bit of love. You know, just kind of poke it with your torch and it'll straighten itself right out. But you still have these scrape marks, which is kind of cool. You know, the scrape marks will remain there, I believe, until you paint the block. Which, I'm not going to get into painting because I don't do painting. Screw that crap. Now, over here, we've lost some pieces, you know. There we go. There's a lot of lost pieces. So a lot of this gets rebuilt pretty much from scratch. And you have to have those components within your inventory in order to do it. But as you can see, it tries to keep things as smooth as possible. And just leaves things kind of the way that you would expect them to. They're really going for realism here. They're not going for just a cheap gimmick. They want it to be as realistic as possible. Things that could actually occur within our lifetime, I guess. And I think they're doing a great job, except for the requirement to be, like, right in its face. You know, I would like to have it about here. I think that would be a good distance to be away. Being here is a little bit close, in my opinion. Oop. 5. There we go. Let's just rebuild that. And then, of course, you've got this guy. Ah! Now, one thing I've not tried is see how long it takes to poke a hole in the rock. I honestly don't think it'll... I think it'll take quite a while, so I'm not going to waste the time. But, again, you can do damage to the blocks. And there we go. So we did a pretty good amount of damage there. Anyway, I think that just about covers everything I'm going to cover. Let me see. Yeah, we've covered pretty much the basics of the game. So I hope you enjoyed this little look here at Space Engineers. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye!